Welcome to Stories Behind the Stories, Mackinac Island edition. I'm your host, Linda Hughes, and I am so pleased to be here today with two more authors. I had four last time, and these are two authors that I've been reading their books and hearing about, and it's so wonderful to put some faces, real faces, with the names on the books for so long. And we are all authors who set our stories on Mackinac Island and other places as well. We've done other things. And as you can see, Jim Bolone, our guest on the top here, is a teacher, teaches middle school creative writing. How wonderful, Jim. And thank you for joining me after a long day that
Thanks,
includes
Linda.
a faculty meeting. I understand. I appreciate
Great.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then Charlie Cutter, Charles, your books say Charles Cutter, but I know you go by Charlie. And I have something to tell you, Charlie.
Okay.
Yours was the very first novel I ever read that was placed on Mackinac Island. The setting was Mackinac Island.
Wow.
And I was so impressed. I loved that story so much, Pink Pony. And so I revisited it a few years later because I wondered, did I just love that story so much because it was on the island, or was it a really good story? and and I reread it, and what a great story. And I know you've done others since as a follow-up. And then Jim, the first one of yours I read, Doc Porter, that you have a co-writer, Dave McVeigh, who was in the first
Mhm.
episode of this podcast. And oh my goodness, what a delight.
Yeah.
And so your experience about that is so much fun to hear about. So what I'm going to do, Charlie, is I'm going to start with you
Okay.
and have you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your books, because I know you have more than one. And then I have some questions that I want to ask as well. So just a brief introduction. Tell us about you and your books.
Got it. Well, the my given name is not Charles Cutter, but no one can say or pronounce McElravy, which is my real last name. So um, I thought I needed a pen name, and actually I had a traditional publisher for the for actually the book before the Pink Pony and the Pink Pony, and they wanted me to use my real name, and true enough, no one could say or pronounce it. So then the publishing world really kind of got upended by independent publishing. I bought the copyrights back from the publisher, and I thought, well, I'm going to have a pen name. So there's a big Barnes and Noble in East Lansing where we live, and I went to the mystery section just to kind of look around. And what I found myself doing was I started at the beginning of the alphabet. So I thought, well, I ought to have a name at the beginning of the alphabet. So that settled that part. And then I thought, well, I need to have something that is easy to spell, cannot possibly be mispronounced. And I grew up sailing with my parents, and a cutter is a kind of a sailboat. So
Sure.
I came up with Charles Cutter. And that's how the pen name came.
I love that. So okay, now I'm going to say it. McElraney.
McElravy. It rhymes with Navy.
Oh, okay. McElravy. Is that Irish?
Scotch Irish.
Ah, okay. I like it. I like it very much.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, even I just now had a little bit of a hard time saying it. And so that's very clever the way that you figured that out. And so when you say that you left your publisher and started self-publishing, I think it's at about that time that I first contacted you, and I want to thank you because I also had left my publisher. I was self-publishing. I'd taken my books away. Jim, I don't know if you've ever gone through this, but to then self-publish and not only write the books, but market the books yourself is hard to do. It's a lot of work. And when you first throw yourself into that, you don't quite know what to do. And Charlie, I don't know if you even remember, but I contacted you.
Yeah, I do remember.
Oh
I do.
my goodness, you were so helpful. And you
Thank you.
gave me recommendations and you gave me names of people I could contact. And I thank you so much for that because it really did help me out. Mostly what it did, well, first it scared me because it's a lot of work to do that. And once I got over being scared, I was just so very, very grateful for all that
Quite
you
welcome.
did. Yeah, you did to help me. And it's one of the things I love about authors in general. I find that most of us are extremely supportive of each other. No one of us can ever write enough books to satisfy every reader who's out there.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah, and so helping each other out, supporting each other. And I will tell you, if I don't like an author's books, I very kindly just never mention it and I don't interview them on my podcast. So these are authors that I really would support for my readers, that I really would say you want to read these books. And that's how I feel about both of you. So that support is wonderful, but I think there's a special support amongst those of us who write about Mackinac Island. Maybe that's just in my head, but it just seems like we really have a camaraderie because we love this place. So, Jim, tell us a little bit about you and your books.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave and I, we've written 3 books. Of course, The Doc Porter, Somewhere in Crime,
Mhm.
and Misguided. Dave and I've really done quite a bit of work together on those pieces. I actually was born and raised in Detroit. I'm a native Detroiter, and I attended Wayne State. So those were the years that I really wasn't familiar with the island until I was about 19. And that's when I actually first experienced the beauty and splendor of the place. And it just grew on me, especially the people. And from that, I met Dave. And after meeting Dave, we then had these memories to share. And, several years ago, brought this amalgam of memories and decided to fashion some stories, some great, we'll call them novels, good novels from that. Dave, I believe, has shared with you the essence of the Doc Porter. Somewhere in Crime was set against the making of the movie Somewhere in Time, and that was interesting because what we have is Jack, our protagonist. He's really, really worried about his parents' relationship, and it's kind of been faltering. And when the movie group comes into town, they need a seamstress, and Jack's mom decides to take the job. And Jack's dad's not really happy because he thinks that the male lead in Somewhere in Time, Christopher Reeves, might go after Mrs. And
Even though Jane Seymour is there, but okay.
yeah. And Jack really takes it upon himself to be concerned about this, and he wants to get his parents back together. Meanwhile, there's a cold case. There was a murder that happened 20 years prior. And Jack, if he can solve this cold case, he can take the money and buy his parents their dream trip to Cairo, and hence getting them back together again. So that's kind of what that story is all about. And then we have Misguided. Jack, our protagonist, is working. He's about 16. He's working at the Fort Tea Room, and he really wants to be a dock porter. But he's just a bit too young. And out of nowhere, some of the guide staff at Fort Mackinac are released, and they need guides in a pinch. And Jack ends up going for that job and gets it, befriends the other new guides. They become close, and they get together, and they realize that there is a pizza mogul from Detroit, of all places, that wants to find the chalice that belonged to Pierre Marquette, and he wants to covet it and bring it back with him to his island, which is Beaver Island. So Jack and his guide buddies decide to prevent or thwart this from happening, and it becomes kind of a comical war
It
between
is. It's really an action adventure. Yeah.
yeah, the guides at on Mackinac Island versus the guide staff at Beaver Island. So that's in essence the
Well,
tale.
first of all, I think every author who writes about the island was jealous when you came up with the title Somewhere in Crime. Because that's so perfect
Yeah.
because the movie, not everyone may know, Somewhere in Time, which was a Christopher Reeve, Jane Seymour movie from
Yes.
long ago, the 80s, was so popular and really has a cult following. And it was filmed on the island. And so anybody who goes there knows about it. That's
Right.
a really big deal. So that title is just so perfect. And I will never again go to the fort and have one of the young scouts tell me the history of the island and believe anything they say after your guys
Yeah.
had that job and just made stuff up. I mean, it was so cute, so
We had
very
a good time with
cute.
that. Thank you. Yeah, it was
And
fun.
and Charles, people may not know, Charlie, people may not know that the Pink Pony is a bar, right?
Right,
And
right.
so what compelled you to set your mystery, at least the beginning of this mystery, in a bar? I mean, did you just really like that bar or what
Well,
was it?
I had done a number of Port Huron to Mackinac and Chicago to Mackinac races, and of course we that's
Sailboat races.
sailboat races, yeah.
Mhm.
And everybody, I mean, the tradition is as soon as you get in, you go to the Pink Pony and have a beer or whatever your drink of choice is. So I was pretty familiar with the bar, and uh, and I thought I'd sort of maybe hitchhike a little bit on its popularity because it's far and away the most popular bar on the island, and it may be the most popular bar in all of Michigan. So a buddy of mine and his wife have a house on the island, and they introduced me to Bobby Benzer, whose family owns the Pink Pony, and I called him and told him I wanted to write a book and I wanted the murder to be in his bar, and he thought that would be a great idea. So that was how that started.
You know, you just said something that's been really important, and I've seen it across all these books, is how many of us as authors that set our stories on the island have contacted people there who live there, who have businesses there, who work at the state park, work at the fort, or who work at the Grand Hotel, and how really accommodating people have been.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody say, no, I don't want to talk to you, or I don't want to give you information, I don't have time for you. There is that feeling of friendliness, and we all belong, and
Absolutely.
we're all in this together. And it really is, even though it's such a popular tourist spot, in
Yeah.
fact, it's been voted #1 by USA Today and Travel and Leisure and so many others, even though there's so many people there in terms of tourism, it still has that small town
Mhm.
feel.
Right.
We all feel like we belong there.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you? When I leave, I go every summer. And when I leave, I feel like I'm leaving my second home.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Feels that way. It
it's
does.
a great place to be. So my next question of each of you, and I'll start with you, Jim. My next question is, as you wrote this story, or these stories in your case, did you ever think about who you wanted to star in the movie of your books?
That's interesting because Dave and I, we would joke around and we would think about certain stars that are kind of older now. And
Yeah,
because
too old now, yeah, but
our protagonist, yeah, he's in his mid-20s, then he's 13ish, and then of course he's 16ish. Um, and the traditional lineup, you think of Tom Cruise and those guys, but
yeah.
I kind of, and Dave and I haven't talked about this. I there's a young actor he played in Stranger Things, and his name is Finn Wolford, I think, and he's an upcoming actor, and I think he'd be really cool in the role. And then there was another young man that was in Walking Dead, and his name's, I think, George Monroe. And these are guys that are like in their mid 20s ish.
Hmm.
And then I remember coming upon on the IMDb database. There was a young lady, and what's her name? Bella Thorne. She was in a movie in like 2018, 2019 called I think what was the name of the film? Midnight Sun. I think that's it. She's another one that I think would play a great Aaron, the role of Aaron. But outside of that, the traditional lineup are all the guys that are like, kind of like, my age. And,
Well, yeah, because we wrote the books a while ago and we had
Yeah.
to find people who fit the part then and
Yeah.
a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself though watching shows now and sometimes going, oh, I don't know who that is, but that person would be a perfect Aaron or so and so or so and so.
Exactly. So that's what I've been
Fun.
doing. I go to that IMDb database. This is really cool. It's a great site. And
It
I'll do
is.
that, and I'll open it up and I'll find the movie, the title of the film, and then go to the actor or the actress. And then, kind of cool. There are a lot of young and upcoming actors, male and female, that are doing terrific work. And
Yes,
so
there
it's
are.
really nice to see.
That would be fun. Yeah, and I'll tell you both in a minute, and you'll be able to guess who I always see in my Mackinac Island books. But Charlie, who do you see as Burr? It's Burr, right? Your main
Yeah,
character.
Burr Lafayette.
Oh my gosh, I love him, by the way.
Yeah,
He is a mess, but he is as a lawyer, but he's so much fun. He's more fun than the Lincoln lawyer. So who do you see playing Burr?
I actually a younger Jim Harrison. I'm not Jim Harrison. Uh, oh geez, well, I can't think of his name. Who is who played Indiana? Who played Indiana Jones in
Harrison Ford.
Harrison
Oh,
Ford? Yeah, and a younger Harrison Ford. Yeah, that's who I'd see playing Burr Lafayette.
Well, I have a Harrison Ford story if you want to hear it.
Sure, I'd love to hear
Quick
it.
one.
yeah.
For 20 years, I was a trainer and I went around to different companies, did training, and I was hired by Lucasfilm to do a training program for them for 3 days at Skywalker Ranch, California.
Wow.
Really?
So they give me a guest house, this gorgeous guest house, a Victorian house, not a guest room. I got a house. And they told me that was where Harrison Ford stayed when he came to the ranch. And I
Wow.
spent my whole time running around this house.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, he sat here and he was over here and he ate at this table. I mean, I was an idiot. And I when I did the training, I tried to act like a normal person. I'm not sure it worked very well, but that really got to me that Harrison Ford had been there. So yeah, he would be a great Burr, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you. Oh,
He'd
that's
be
what
a
I thought.
wonderful and Burr's last name is Lafayette, right?
Yes.
And yeah, it's just one of those names that sticks with you. It's
Good
it's a
name. Yeah.
it's a really good
Yeah.
one.
Well, it's I'm a recovering attorney. And long time ago, I practiced law in downtown Detroit, and there's a famous street in downtown Detroit
Oh
called
yeah,
Lafayette, and so
sure.
that was where that came from.
Sure. Yeah, I remember that. Well, I have 8 books set on the island, and I love to have a woman over 60 as, if not the prime character, one of the characters. And so can either of you guess who I always picture in my head as that woman who's a bit older? Think about
Hmm.
it.
Helen
Is she?
Mirren.
Well, yeah, she'd be good too. Jane Seymour,
Oh,
our,
yes.
our cult lady from the island.
Why not?
I know. I even bought a Jane Seymour scarf. And then I always have Sam Elliott. He always has a part too in all my
Yeah.
books, no
Oh,
matter
he's
what.
great.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
absolutely
He's,
great.
he's great.
I
So,
like it.
but Jim, what you were saying about when we wrote the books, even if it was just a few years ago, and if our characters are a certain age, and we have in our head a picture of who would play the movie, well, uh, they age out of the story eventually, and we have to find new people, don't we?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Kind of fun how that works out.
Yeah. Right.
So, Charlie, you wrote your subsequent books. One was on the Osabo River, right?
Right. Yes.
And which I used to canoe the Osabo River, by the way. They did a race every year.
Yeah, they do.
And
It's a pretty grueling race too.
yeah, I never won, but it was it was really a lot of fun. And then the other one is Manitoba Island.
No, Sleeping Bear Dunes and South Manitou Island.
Oh, Manitou, that's right. That's right. So, what I love about stories like this is they really give us a feel for time and place. And you both did such a great job in putting the reader in that setting, in that place, and really giving them a sense for what it's like, what the people are like. And I think that when readers get done with your books, they truly feel like they've been there. And for people who have never been to the island and know nothing about it, what a wonderful introduction to,
Right.
to such a great place that they can learn so much about it and even accidentally learn about some of the history of it because that's part of the side story for all of this and find out what the people are like and find out how beautiful it is. Because let's face it, it's very remote and it's a little bit hard to get to, isn't it? And
Yeah.
so not a
Right
lot
on.
of people around the country, around the world, even know that it exists and that it was so important in terms of developing the American frontier. And there is so much that went on in that little island.
Boy,
And
that's for sure.
yeah, and people from all over the world were there, and they're coming back now as
Right.
tourists, which I think is really, really
Oh yeah.
lovely. So tell me if either of you, if you have plans, I guess just tell me what it is you're writing now or thinking of writing next, and is it Mackinac Island related or not? What's up? What are you doing now?
I have a book coming out in January called The Lady Slipper, and it's about an endangered orchid. It takes place in Harbor Springs, and
Oh,
Cool.
it's the sixth book in the Burr Lafayette series. It's at Mission Point now, and they're getting it produced. So hopefully that'll do well. And then I've started work on, in my head at least, on the seventh book in the Burr Lafayette series, which is back on Mackinac Island.
Nice. Very nice.
oh yeah, that's very nice. What's that one going to be called?
I don't know yet, but it's going to have to do with uh, the murder takes place at Jack's Livery. Um,
Oh wow.
Dale gave me permission to use
That's cool.
use the stables as a scene of a murder, so that
That's
that that
great.
much I know.
It probably is a good idea if you're going to use a real place and set a murder in your book in that place to ask the owner.
That's kind of what I thought.
Mind if we do this? Yeah. And so, Jim, what are you up to?
Well, Dave's been working on a film out in California, so he's out there for a few months, and I'm hoping
Not one of your books, though, right?
not yet. No, not yet. He's doing that film, which is kind of cool. He's just he's very talented in the film industry and of course in writing. So while he's been away, I've been actually working on a short piece. It's 15, actually 16 flash fiction young adult horror stories, the shorts, and it's called Zombie Seagulls, and 15 other bite-sized nightmares, and it'll be out via Mission Point in February for pre-sale. So I'm
Oh,
pretty excited.
that'll be fun.
Yeah,
And you certainly know that audience with
I've
you.
designed this one. This one's intentionally prepared for reluctant readers. So the stories are kind of a little bit modeled after my days watching Twilight Zone and The Night Gallery, and also Goosebumps.
Huh.
So
Oh, yeah. Good stuff there. That's all really good stuff. And
yeah.
you say that's for younger readers, but just like Doc Porter, which I know is advertised as being appropriate for young adults,
Hmm.
and it is,
Yeah.
but adults love it too.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah,
book, this one coming out should be cross generational. They're
sure.
kind of cool, just short horror stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's the kind of thing I can picture grandma reading to the grandkids and they're
yeah.
having a good time.
I
Yeah.
think I have 13 of them are set on Mackinac Island,
Oh,
um,
wow.
and then 3 are set in Detroit. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. Thank you.
And Charlie, what are you up to? I mean, you're doing, you have one that's coming out, you have one that you're planning,
Yes.
and so Is
That's
that it?
kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out how to get a little bit more sophisticated with marketing, and that's a really quite a challenge, I think. Jim, do you guys do much email marketing?
You know what? We don't. We haven't at all.
I do a lot. Hmm.
Yeah, well, maybe on another time we could talk about that if you don't mind. This probably
I
isn't
don't
the
mind.
appropriate time, but
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Yeah. And that's
Absolutely.
one thing I think a lot of readers don't know is that, especially for those of us who are self-published, is uh, there's a lot more that we have to do than just write books.
right.
Oh,
And
exactly.
I know you two have publishers or have had publishers, but we all have to do a lot of work to keep our readers informed about what's going on. And so that's
No,
one of
you're
the
right.
reasons I wanted to do this
Sure.
kind of podcast.
This is
So
wonderful.
I have a one final question for you. Oh, and by the way, before I get to that, uh, looking at what we're doing next, I'm just finishing a trilogy of novels, romantic
Nice.
women's fiction, which is what I write, set in Scotland. And I already have a trilogy that's set on Mackinac Island. And I was able at the end to take this woman is on an ancestry quest in Scotland, and I was able to take her ancestry back to Mackinac Island and
Wow.
tie the two series together.
Oh, that's great.
And that was so much fun. I had so much fun
It's
getting
interesting.
that done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that was great.
Yep.
So my question to you is about a Christmas package. What if, because I know every year they do a raffle around Christmas time on the island, and the profits go to usually the medical center or the fire department or something like that. What if we, and you all don't have to answer me right now, you may want to think about this, but what if we each donated a signed copy of our books and put them all together for a raffle package for a box? And by all of us, I mean the three of us and more, whoever writes about Mackinac Island,
Right.
and had that as a raffle package to give away. I just think that some reader would love that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea. I'm in.
I'm
Good,
in.
good, good. Get and I'll be in charge. I'll get all of that together.
Absolutely. 100%.
Well, before we're done today, I want to know if you have a copy of your books there that you can show us. You got one there? It's
Oh,
not in your classroom, is it, Jim?
they're right. I know. I did, but I have a student reading one of them.
Well, that's a good
There's,
thing.
It's a good thing.
there-
Yeah.
there's the
There's
pink
Pink
phone.
Pony. That's great. I love that. Here's one of mine, the one I was able to tie into the others, The Promise of Christmas Past. And oh my
Oh,
goodness,
that's
is that
wonderful.
ever fun to look at
Yeah.
what life used to be like on the
Sure.
island.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want readers or listeners or viewers or me or anybody to know before we go today?
Well, the only thing one thing I'd add, Jim probably feels the same way. For people who buy books on Amazon, if
Ah,
they like the book, it'd be great if they left a review because reviews really do help sell books.
boy, they really do. It helps us so much. And I know, I don't know if this happened to you, Charlie, but when I left my publisher, I lost all my reviews. Hundreds of reviews were gone.
Oh,
And that was just heartbreaking. So it looks like nobody ever read the books. I promise they did. They really did. So that's a great reminder. Thank you. And also, I want to remind everybody about the Island Bookstore. They are so good to us, and you can
Yes, they are. They
order
really.
online through them.
fantastic.
And they've always been so supportive of all of us authors, and it's fun to do book signings there. And
Absolutely.
so the Island Bookstore on
Yeah.
Mackinac Island, great place to order your books from. And I want to thank both of you for being here today. And maybe next time, I said this last time, but I'll say it again. Maybe we can do it on the island. What do you say?
That'd be
Oh,
fun.
that'd be great.
Hey, we
Yeah.
could go to the Pink Pony. How's that?
Well,
I'm in.
I am too.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm in. I'm in.
Thank you both so much. Jim
Thanks.
Bolone, Charles
See you,
Cutter.
Cal.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
Charlie.
joining.
Yeah,
Linda,
bye.
that's good.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.